Hello, you should be on number 48 in Violin, Cello, or Viola Book 2. 48 is called Let's Read C Sharp. Now, you know F Sharp and you know C Sharp in other spots on your instrument, but this is kind of a more tricky version of that note. It's a much lower version of the note. For example, violins, this one's going to be below on your G string. Viola, this is going to be on your G string as well. And let me just quickly go over how to do that note on violin and viola. Cellos we'll get to in a second. For violin and viola, this low note is going to be a half step above, and it's going to be kind of reversed on the camera here, but it's going to be on your lowest string, and it's going to be one finger, two fingers, three fingers would be a normal C. C sharp is going to be a raised third finger. And so you see that little arrow above your note? You're going to raise that ring finger so that you have an equal distance between your three fingers. See if you can see that there? This is a whole step, that's a whole step. This used to be a half step, now it's a whole step. So in order to kind of figure out what that sounds like, you can play a normal A, B, G, A, B, C, and then go up a half step to a C sharp, and you might have to really reach for that. It's kind of a weird angle to do that in. So that's your first note, is that C sharp, and make sure your note sounds like that. Now, cellos, you're going to have to go to your extended second position here. So what you're going to do, cellos, and it's going to be hard to show you here, but your first finger, I'm going to pretend like I'm playing a cello in front of me. Your first finger is going to be on your G string, just like for violin and viola, but it's going to be on A. And your second finger normally would be skipped, and you would use your third finger for B, but you're actually going to put your second finger on B cellos. And there's going to be a really large gap between your first and second finger, more than you're used to. And when you stretch that second finger, make sure that your other hand, like you're not up like this, but you're kind of down like this. So you have a nice large gap between your first and second finger. So to recap, your first finger's on the A line, and if you have your lines on your instrument, and your second finger is going to be all the way to B. Your third finger is going to go all the way to the C line, which should be closer, and then your fourth finger is going to drop down, which is why it says it kind of has a 4 with a little X in parentheses if you're looking at your music. That is just going to drop down and rest right next to that third finger, because that is going to be your C sharp. So recap, cellos, because this is extra tricky for you. You have open G. First finger down is going to be A. You're going to extend that second finger so that your middle finger is on B. Normally you would use three fingers for that. And then you're going to have your third finger be on C, and you're going to have to really extend that one. And then your fourth finger is going to be just a half step above that on C sharp. Let's play number 48. Let's read C sharp. Make sure yours sounds like Mr. Matchy's here, like mine. So I'm going to play this one. I'm first going to figure out what my C sharp should sound like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play G, A, B, C, and then I'm going to raise that C up to a C sharp. Listen closely. You can kind of watch my fingers too. G. That's my C. Now I'm going to find my C sharp. C. There's my C sharp. And we're going to start with 48. So make sure your C sharp sounds like this. From the beginning, 48. Let's get a metronome going just so we have something to play with at a steady speed. I have that right next to me here. 1, 2, number 48, go. Now, it's super important to make sure that C sharp sounds like the last C sharp I'm talking about. Make sure that sounds just like the first one that we worked on. And that would mean that your fingers, as they're going down from C sharp back to B, back to A, if you can put them back down in the exact same spots, that's going to help you out later on. Now, take a look at the next exercise, 49, because we're going to include that one here as well, 48 plus 49. This one is going to kind of work on the same thing, but now you're going to use, if you're a violin or viola, you're going to try and use your fourth finger D on top of that C sharp. Cellos, you're just going to go up to the D string, and you can leave your fingers down on C sharp, cellos, when you switch to that D string, because if you're playing that in front of you like this, you have your A, you have your A, your B, and then you have your C and C sharp like this. If you're playing that C sharp like this and you need to go to the D string, you don't need to lift your fingers up at all. Just make sure they're curved enough so that you're not hitting that D string on accident. You want to make sure that you have that C sharp down, and that you're able to play that open D string clearly. So our goal here is to make sure that our C sharps sound like Mr. Matchy's, like mine, and to make sure that we can get every single one to sound consistently like that C sharp. From the beginning, here is 49, and this time we're starting on A, so we're going to try and aim for that raised third finger or that fourth finger, cellos, right away. Cellos, make sure you watch that B on your middle finger in measure 1. Here we go. Starting on A, first finger down. Cellos, make sure you extend all the way with your middle finger in order to get that out. Here we go. Here's 49. 1, 2, ready, go. And if you're able to make all those C sharps sound exactly the same, that's the goal, of course. Yeah, cellos, the biggest issue for you here is going to be making sure that we get used to extending that second finger all the way to the second line on your cello, so that instead of playing B with your third finger down, cellos, you're going to play B with your second finger down. That's going to be the biggest issue. Violins, violas, the biggest issue here is extending your third finger, but you've done that before. All right, and that should be, if you can play it at that speed, that's all you'll need to do in your lesson.